Really?
The funny part is when I walk around, I'm like, what the hell are you doing back here, man?
I had my back to him, and I looked like I was just rubbing all crazy.
What is going on?
Hello, and welcome to episode 78 of Comical Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Corbett, and with me is...
Miguel Garza, man.
Just Miguel?
Just Miguel. I'm going to be just Miguel today.
No personalities today?
Oh, they'll come out later.
Oh. And of course, we have a very special guest on this week's episode, Mr. Jimmie Robinson.
Hey, how's it going, peoples? How's it going?
We're doing good, man. How are you?
Right on. I'm just fine, just running around a little crazy, but I'm fine now. Got a beer. I'm good.
I need a surge.
We're all out of those.
Oh, man.
Well, let's not waste any time because we've got a lot to go over this week. Let's talk about our books. What were your top two this week, Miguel?
You know, I'm not sucking up here right now. My number 2 was The Empty. No sucking up going on here.
Not at all.
You know, The Empty number 4 was actually my pick of the week, as it has been every single time this book has come out.
Wow.
I absolutely love what you're doing with this book, man. And we're going to talk more about that later. I won't go into anything that happens in the plot of Empty number 4 yet, but good choice for your number 2, man.
Of course, you know I love the book.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, then,
Thanks.
So we won't talk about it right now then. Right. So what was your number 2?
My number 2 is actually Broken World number 1 by Frank Barbieri and Christopher Peterson.
Hey, one of our friends.
Yeah, Frank is awesome. This book is really interesting. It's the story of this family at the end of the world. It's this wife and husband and their child. And this asteroid is supposed to hit the Earth. So
I thought it was Earth 616.
No.
Oh, my bad.
It's not Secret Wars. It's completely different things going on.
That's what I felt, man.
So the wife apparently has a criminal history of some sort. So she's desperately trying to cover that up and keep her husband and daughter from finding that out because she's trying to get a fake identity so that she can sneak aboard one of the escape pods. They basically have rockets that are taking humanity to outer space to survive, except for the criminal element. They're not taking anybody who has any kind of felonies.
You know what's funny? And I don't mean to interrupt you, but when I was reading this book, all I could hear was, I don't want to close my eyes. Seriously.
All Armageddon style?
I'm telling you.
Nice. Well, so she, goes out, she gets a fake ID, meets up with her husband and daughter. They wait until the very last rocket that's supposed to leave Earth, and then they try to get through security. And some stuff happens. It's all about humanity's last days on Earth. All the crazy stuff people do. All the normal people and the people that haven't committed crimes are all floating around in outer space in cryo sleep, living relatively okay lives. Their plan is to either evacuate the Earth after the asteroid hits and try to find some other habitable planet, or maybe come back. I don't know. But she waits with her husband and daughter. She's one of the last people to go up, and some stuff happens. I don't want to ruin the twist for anybody, but I didn't expect it to come.
You had to see that coming. You knew something was going to go down.
I knew something was going to go down, but not that. Not nearly as drastically as it happened.
You got like the guy doing the fake ID, man. It's a conspiracy, man. It's a conspiracy.
It was really good. So I highly recommend going out and checking out Broken World. It's a great number 1.
Yeah, Broken World was my pick of the week.
Okay. We're on the same page.
Yeah, we are.
Just numbers are flipped a little bit.
You want my number 1?
Sure.
I'll give you my number 1.
What was your number 1?
My number 1 was by the great Steve Orlando. Midnighter, number 1.
That was my number 1 also.
No sucking up again either, just because he's our friend. But, you remember back in the day when we had that tournament going against each other?
We did Comical Madness.
Yeah, Comical Madness.
16 characters fighting against each other.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is. He loses. And then we saw a little bit of him in Grayson. And I was like, oh, this guy's kind of cool, actually. But I never knew that Midnighter was actually gay. And I was like, okay, all right. And then, Steve took over the book, and I was like, pretty damn good.
The book's phenomenal. I mean, Steve does an amazing job with dialogue, but he always has. Midnighter is a total badass, and he knows it. He's in total control of every situation he's in. He kicks the ass of everybody he comes across who needs to have their ass kicked. And there's definitely some romance going on with the guy he meets in the book, but that's not really the main thing. It just seems so normal. He makes it seem like such a normal thing, which is the cool thing about the book. Because a lot of things are like, oh, this guy's gay, and they kind of shove it in your face or whatever. But Steve makes it seem like it's just a normal everyday occurrence that this guy happened to go on a date with another dude.
No, that was another book that was shoveling in our face.
I don't know if anybody read Airboy today or not, but a lot of swinging dicks in that one. That's all I can say.
A lot of anacondas.
I just want to say something.
Yeah, sure.
Midnighter #1. Love that Oakland setting. Thank you very much. Shout out to my city, Oakland.
Awesome.
That's apparently where Midnighter and his friend was hanging out having dinner when they got interrupted.
Cool.
Very nice.
I wonder how Steve picked the setting for that.
I don't know.
Don't know. But I just looked at the caption and said, Oakland. I'm like, really? I'm like, cool. My hometown.
Well, what about you, Jimmy? Did you read anything this week that you want to talk about?
Oh, I got through Midnighter. That was just cool. A lot of action. It was cool. I dig it. I did get through Airboy, so I know what you guys are talking about. And I was totally blown away that this was a whole realistic kind of Eric Stevenson and and James Robinson. James Robinson, great friend of mine, and all that stuff. This is really cool. But yeah, that was cool. And Squirrel Girl. I like Squirrel Girl. She was happening.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Oh, but I'd say my #1 would probably be Wicked and Divine. A lot happened in that. I was just like, really? Seriously? Okay, let it go. But yeah, that's those are some of the things. I've been busy. I've been slammed, so I've not been able to keep up with the laundry list that you guys are reading. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we read somewhere like 35 books today or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, you guys are serious. But yeah, those are some of the books I got through. And a couple other things. But yeah, those were some really that really stood out.
I completely agree with you. All of the ones you mentioned were in contention for our top 3, I think. But you're right. Wicked and Divine was just amazing. It was just a little bit less than the other books I thought, but it was real close. If I had to give it a number, I'd say it was #4.
Yeah, I like to snap my fingers and see people just go poof.
Yeah, a lot of reveals in #11. I wasn't expecting some of those things.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, you said this last couple of weeks. It's been getting really hard to pick 3.
Yeah.
It's been really, really hard. There have been some really good books, but like today, saying all the books we read through, for a while I thought I never was going to get off Battle World. I thought I lived there. I was like, holy crap.
Well, when you read all the Secret Wars titles,
Hey, man, I had to jump away. I read like 7. I was like, okay, I got to go to something else. I picked up Mortal Kombat X. I read that, and I was like, finish him! And then I went back to see. I've never laughed.
I saw you posting the pictures of Johnny Cage punching Scorpion in the nuts.
No, that was Reptile. He hit Reptile in the nuts. It was freaking awesome.
Cool. Well, let's move on then. Let's talk about you, Jimmy.
Oh, no.
Why don't we talk about The Empty? Why don't you tell our listeners what The Empty is all about?
Oh, gee, really? The Empty, published by Image Comics, everything done by me, and it's kind of post-apocalyptic science fiction, fantasy, kind of Mad Max meets Poison Ivy, kind of, just kind of this weird thing I got going on about this girl who can grow things, who ends up in this world of dust and decay at the end of the world, you might say, or whatever world it is. And I'm really not selling this well, am I? It's a post-apocalyptic book, buddy travel story kind of a thing about saving the world. Put it that way.
Yeah, that works.
That kind of works. I really need to work on that pitch if I'm going to go to the pitch.
You do a lot. You write the book, you draw the book, you color the book, you letter the book. You don't have to worry about the pitch, right?
Yeah, just read the book.
do you bind it too? Now that's all he's got to do left. I bind it, I staple it, I glue it.
Well, I almost could do that. For 13 years I worked at a commercial printing company, and I do know all the ins and outs of exactly how to print on a 4-color cold set press. I can do that. Yeah, I've learned everything from A to Z, but I'm not doing that.
One-man production chain.
Pretty much, but that was back in the old days, Now it's, everything's digital. It's just beautiful. It's so easy. I learned the hard way. I did everything old school. Now I'm, just kicking back, pushing buttons on a computer and saying, print it. It goes to a printer. They just run with it. So everyone's happy. But yeah, that's The Empty. It was a 6-issue miniseries. Image liked it, and they said keep on going. So now it's ongoing. So I had to do some tweaking on issue 5 and 6 to get it to flow into the next arc and all that stuff. And yeah, it's been well received. It's been doing all right. I love it. I just get to wake up in the morning and just work on my book and feed my birds and plant stuff in the garden and be an idiot. Well, it's the wild birds. I just had bird feeders in the backyard. That's all.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, it was originally intended as a miniseries, so I kind of got that feeling reading issue 4 that we were approaching the end. I was kind of wondering how it was going to progress now that it's an ongoing.
Yeah, it kind of put me in a bind. I think around issue 3, going into issue 4, no, around issue 3, Image said, just keep going. And I'm like, well, I did have this end in mind, but I did have a bunch of stuff in the back that I overwrote because I completely did this world building thing, and it was, I put a lot down that never hit the page, so I'm now able to stretch my legs a little and get some of the backstories out, stuff like that. And I also found a cool way to introduce another arc and make the stakes even higher. So issue 4, that's got some reveals, but issue 5 has got some real pull the rug out from under you kind of stuff going on. So where it goes from there is going to be really interesting. That's where I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping I don't lose a lot of people like, well, fuck this, but
I can't see that happening.
It was all a dream. No, it wasn't all a dream. But yeah, it's an interesting ride, and Image, love them. They just let me go what I do. They just say, here's, we made an agreement, and they say, yeah, see you in January. That's kind of the end of it. So they're just totally hands off, which is great. I get to put in all those lesbian orgy scenes that they don't know about.
Whoa.
Air girl.
No. Add a wolf. There we go. Draw a drum hiller on this sucker. No, I love the book.
Yeah.
In book 3, I got kind of mad with you a little bit, but you made me happy in book 4 again. I was like, okay.
There you go. Yeah, I know what? It was funny. I did get a little bit of hate mail on the book 3. People got to the end of book 3 and said, no. They were ready to toss the book then. So, but I redeemed it all in number 4. So without spoiling anything, there you go.
It was pretty cool. I love the big animals, the big old freaking, the hell was that, a cow? Yeah, freaking cowboy, what the whole thing was supposed to be. Big B. It's really cool. I mean, it's such a great book. I know when we first picked it up, we were like, what is wrong with this chick's neck?
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with this woman's arms? Oh my gosh. There's a different take on this, but we're like, okay, let's read it. We like the story, all right. Can't wait to see what book 2 looks like. Like, oh, okay, it got even better. Huh. We were like, well, I'll be damned. But I didn't know it was a miniseries. It's a good thing you hid that from me. I'm not a fan of the miniseries because I get a lot of the miniseries that I've read are really good, and they shouldn't just be miniseries. And if this would have been a miniseries, it'd have been a shame. It's a good thing that it gets to keep on going because it really is good, and I want to see more of the world, and I want to see where you go with this. And the fact that you ended book 4 where you're at, I was like, damn it! I was waiting for because there were still extra pages. Like, oh, this is getting good, and it ends, and it's the preview to something else. Like, you dirty son of a gun.
Yeah, I got my 22-page format I'm kind of sticking to. So the backup pages, Image gets to use for promoting other books and stuff. But yeah, it's I've got it in mind. Don't worry, I've got a bunch of stuff, and I can't. I wish I could talk, but I can't. I can't reveal some stuff. Matter of fact, I'm coloring right now some pages on 5 and 6. So just doing work as I talk.
Well, fans, I'm going to say this for fans of your art. Are you going to sell any pages that people can go like on your website or anything and maybe buy some of the original art that's not colored yet?
I hadn't thought of that. I do have a ton of original art from all my books since I normally write and illustrate my own books. The thing about the Empty, just like the last book I did, is that it's all in pencil. And I just I pencil the whole thing, and then I just scan it in directly, and then I just color on top of the pencil. So what you're looking at they're not inks; they're pencils.
Okay.
Just really tight and all that. I guess people might buy just the straight pencils, but it's. I guess I can cherry pick a few ones that look okay. But lately in issue 6, I mean, I've been cannibalizing the thing. It's been really weird looking. So I don't know how much original art is going to be on there. It's starting to look like a Fiona Staples kind of thing, where it's a lot of it's done digitally. So it's getting interesting because I love original art, and I've always taken it around with me. But this has been a kind of untraditional look. I don't have word balloons, stuff like that. There's not, the characters look different, and, I don't know. Well, I'll see. I go to San Diego Comic-Con in about 6 weeks, and I'll throw some stuff out there, see if people bite. I don't know.
Cool.
We'll send our friends your way. I think they're going again. We'll send the Comic Syndicate out to talk to you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because I think they actually go. There's some really cool guys out there.
Are they local to San Diego, or are they?
They're out somewhere out in
Yeah,
California.
they're in California. I'm not sure exactly where, but they'll definitely be at San
They're
Diego.
about 2 hours away, because when I was in San Diego for my kids' graduation from the Marine Corps, they weren't too far away from me. But I didn't get a chance to see them, though.
Yeah, I'm a guest at San Diego Comic-Con this year, so I will be set up there and all that and blah, blah stuff, so which is really cool. So, yeah, if they're looking for me, they can find me. I got my own table and everything there.
Awesome.
You got a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what is the turnaround time on an issue since you were doing literally everything?
Yeah, a solid month. And I started out like 3 issues ahead before the first issue even hit the stands. So I was just trying to stay ahead, but you know what? I planned it out. So by the time issue 6 came around, I'd be done. That's why I'm only working number 5 and 6 right now, even though you got number 4 today. So I'm kind of losing my lead time here. I've already burned, an issue or 2 of lead time. So I got to turn up the heat a little bit. But yeah, it takes me a solid month, and maybe a month and a week. It depends. Obviously, it depends. But I just hammer out scripts and I sit down. I pencil pretty fast. That's the thing, is my style is kind of linear. I don't have a lot of feathering and a lot of cross hatching or anything. So I just go right to the page. I know some people do a lot of sketching ahead of time, and I pretty much just, when I draw, I'm drawing a book. I should sketch more, and plan out more, but often when I'm drawing, it's just what you're going to see is what I'm drawing. It's the only time I'm really drawing. I just don't have the time for it as just leisure, you might say. So, solid month and a week, something like that. And the Image is giving me just over a month per issue. So, like, next issue, I think there's going to be a little delay between it because they scheduled it where it misses, I think, a couple of weeks, and then it comes out. So that was nice of them to give me the little break. And then the trade's going to come out, and then I get another little 1 month break kind of a thing. And, Eric Stevenson said, we're just going to do this, we're going to do that. And, I just nodded nod my head, smile.
Does his office really look like it was portrayed in Airboy?
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
A scooter and a Mad Men kind of style pad. He's just kicking back like, Jimmy, I got this idea. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. No, he's really cool. He's a matter of fact.
Let's go get a drink.
Matter of fact, in that comic is the most, you probably will ever hear him talk. I mean, if you ever really meet Eric Stevenson, he's one of the quietest guys in the room. So it's intimidating sometimes when you're just talking to Stevenson. He just kind of nods his head, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So reading them in Airboy, not that he took, a major part of the book, but I'm just saying it was interesting to see him portrayed as this guy just rambling on the phone and all. But it takes me a solid month, and and I also had to do covers and promotion and stuff like that. But it's fun. I love comics. I'm a comic book guy, and that's just what I love to do. And I'm fortunate that I get to do it, every day. I get to wake up and go to sleep and eat and drink comics.
That's awesome.
That is cool. Now, I have a question for you. It's a two-parter here. The first one, you're talking about how it takes you a while to do the book. With the popularity of the book rising, are you going to ever look to get some help, especially if you start getting them out quicker? Or is it something you're gonna nah, I'm doing this by myself for the rest. I'm doing all 265 issues by myself. And the other thing was going to be, in my other questions, going along with that, Are you ever going to try to get any like variant covers done, like different kind of covers for your book?
Actually, I can answer the second one first, which was it's going to be no. Image I believe, didn't it make the news? I thought it did. Image or maybe this is breaking news for you guys here. Image announced across the board policy that they're not going to do variant covers anymore.
Wow, I actually had not heard that. That is breaking news.
Yeah, Steven sent a memo out. No, not doing it. They'll do it for trades every now and then, special trades or whatnot, But Stevenson had this email that went out and said, we're not going to contribute to this speculator market and this, that, and the other, and the retailers who have to order so many just to get this and, all this stuff and skewing the numbers or whatever. And part of that I agree with him. The other part I'm like, oh, that's such a shame. Because I've had variant covers from my other book series with Image in the past, and I think it's fun. It's cool. I like it. But yeah, just to let you know, that's official word that I got from Image, the Image office. And the other one, the question, help. Oh, help. Will I just continue doing it all myself?
Call him up one day and send help.
Shoot the flare up. Well, I don't know. I'll probably just drag my butt and say, sorry, I'm behind or something. I probably will just keep doing it myself. There is so much that I do that's not on the page that I probably couldn't translate to somebody, when I'm coloring it or whatnot. Like, they're in the little dungeon at the insect colony and there's going to be a shaft of light that hits them as the top opens up, that kind of stuff, or or the color palette itself. I wanted this color palette to be a certain way because when I'm lettering it, I have to make sure the colors, since there's no white word balloons there, the color palette has to be light enough that the words can always be readable over color. So, without a colorist, you wouldn't know exactly where I'm going to put the dialogue unless I did the dialogue ahead of time. And the dialogue constantly changes. I'm the writer. I get to change stuff right on the spot. So, half the time my wife will tell you I'm sitting there rewriting it as I'm lettering it. I'm like, no, this is a better line. No, they should say it like this. No, I can add this thing. And, before you know it, it's taking me, 3 days to do 4 pages. So I'll probably just keep doing it without asking for help, which will, is the stupid thing to do. But there you go. That's me. I've got another book coming out anyway, so I'm gonna get even more under the wire. I got a book in October coming out that I'm only gonna write. I have an artist already for that one. So that's called Expired, and that'll be out. Another first for you guys.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah, Expired is kind of a crime ghost story, and that'll be out in October for Halloween or whatnot, hopefully. Since I'm not doing the art, I'm hoping the artist keeps up. No, Richard Pace is a great guy. He's on top of it. He's worked on Batman and stuff before. He's really cool. So that's just kind of a crime, weird, kind of supernatural, kind of Kolchak, Night Stalker kind of vibe going on,
You got me.
Yeah, you got us already.
But it's got even a better hook. Okay, Expired is really about this homeless guy who can see, things he shouldn't see. And everyone thinks he's crazy because he's just this homeless guy, right? But this woman gets killed, and she gets killed at a parking meter. And the only time the guy can see her is when he puts a quarter in the meter. Okay? So, of course, he's always bumming for change. Hey, man, got a quarter like any homeless guy. But he's really using that money so he can feed a meter so he can communicate with this ghost who died at the meter. And he can help her move on if he figured out who killed her and all that stuff. And, of course, he's a homeless guy, so his resources are on the street and stuff. And he's got, it's really interesting twist I wanted to give to this kind of Kolchak, the guy who does all these supernatural detective work, but nobody believes him. And there you go. So, yeah, Expired.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, and hence the parking meter Expired. Yeah, it's a joke.
You must be used to giving that pitch.
Sort of, but that one's just easier to wrap up because it all orbits the parking meter, which is That's the joke in the title, you know. When I say the empty, it could just mean, you know, the empty people, the empty land, the empty story, the empty world. There's just so many different empties about it. So it's just this wide-ranging kind of all-catching term, and that I just can't sum up very well. I am going to work on that, trust me. Next time I talk to you guys, I'm going to say, dude, give me 30 seconds. There you go. Have it down.
Does Expired take place in Oakland?
It does now.
Yeah, right. There you go.
No, it doesn't. No, it's back east. That's right, back east. The other one I had to take place in Oakland was Taco Truck, which was kind of like a guy who has this taco truck, and he uses it to get around and deal with these urban supernatural problems, you know, because he's got a food truck.
How have I not read this?
We've read this?
No,
really?
how have I not read this?
Oh, well, that's not out yet.
Oh.
Taco Truck I'm still working on. That's that one I wanted to be cool. You know, I might even blend Taco Truck and Expired together. I could have the homeless guy and the guy that runs the food truck, you know, because they're both urban.
Nice crossover issue.
They're both working in the urban centers, and they both deal with supernatural problems and stuff like that. And,
That'd be awesome. He could do like Chew did with Revival. Yeah. How you flip it, you read on one side is Chew, and it's the Chew drawing, and you get to the end and you flip it to the other side and you read it from that end, and that's like Revival tried artist drawing.
But Expired Taco Truck doesn't.
Expired Taco Truck.
I'm not so sure about that one.
He's not saying the meat in the taco truck is expired.
Well, I was going to have the thing where the kind of food the guy serves, you know, attracts demons and ghosts and stuff like that. So, you know, he's serving two different clientele, us and then, you know, the supernatural world. You know, it's a taco truck. Everybody wants to go to a food truck if you're alive or dead. So, you know, it's just this kind of a fun, and, you know, the guy's got, it's like, the food truck is like all tricked out on the inside with all this, you know, everything the guy needs, you know, like a Batmobile food truck kind of thing. And so, yeah, I was going to have this Van Helsing food truck. There you go.
Nice.
that's better.
I'm all in again.
Both of those sound very good.
I like that. Van Helsing food truck, yeah.
So when is Taco Truck going to drop? I'm writing this down.
No, that probably won't be till sometime next year, and that's, you know, for all I know, when this podcast goes out, everyone's going to just snatch up that idea. They'll probably see it on the stands before I even get to it. But yeah, those are some fun things I'm working on. And of course, back to Bomb Queen. I'd like to get back to Bomb Queen and stuff like that. So yeah.
Very cool.
You know, I'm looking at your cover for the Empty. I'm still just taking the way the covers look. I really like the way they do look. I love the B on the book 4. It just grabs you, seriously. It says the big words, the Empty.
Actually, talking about the insects, this is something I wanted to touch on with you. The way you made the insects talk and the way you explained it was so cool and so innovative. I've never really read or seen anybody else do that before. Where did your inspiration come from for that?
Well, I just wanted kind of this hive mind kind of thing, and I wanted to relate that across. And I don't know, some of these things just come across, and I just play with ideas, and they just come out, and I'm like, okay, I guess that works. And then, you know, people are like, wow, you did this, and you really did this, and I'm like, I don't know. I just threw it up there, and it seemed to work. Or, you know, sometimes I'll throw it up there and I'll change my mind, but in this particular instance, it worked out okay. I was just hoping people would get it after a while, that the first 3 issues, everyone was talking in this kind of stilted way with no contractions or anything. And that's not how everyone is. You know, when you get to the insects, then they're talking like anyone else. So then we realize that, you know, I'm hoping the readers realize that, you know, Lila and Tenor and all these other whatever, they have this kind of Conan speech, you know, me go out and, you know, me go them, kill them. And then they get to the insects and they're like, hey, what's up, man? You know, it's like, so you know, I kind of was hoping I got to the point where I can really show the difference in languages. And then also how all the different characters are talking, you know, some speak with a red balloon, some red lettering, and some, you know, whatever in the insect world. And then there's Lila and Tenor, and, you know, and then there's going to be even more characters coming in. And pretty soon there's going to be like a rainbow of colors of all these different languages and how people talk and everything. It's it's to answer the question, like I said, I just kind of play with ideas and I throw stuff up, and sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. So,
well, that one worked. That one worked great.
Thanks. Yeah, I kind of wanted to go with the no word balloons, because sometimes when I pick up books, I mean, some of the books I read last 2 days, it's just like there's so many word balloons, and it's just the big patches of white. It's like it kind of distorts the color mood that the colorist had in mind. Especially when they talk a lot, then you got this giant word balloon of white space, and I'm like, man, I wanted the color of the world to really come through, even when people were talking, and I just didn't want, so I took a gamble on, just having a line float down to a character's head, and, that was... again, threw it out there, hoped it worked, and I wanted the color to show through, and just wanted that world to open up, right? Wanted to bleed right off the page. I wanted to have, no borders, so I just have this white line fade off kind of a thing. I tried to be really different than my last book, and my last 2 books, I should say. So I just, again, threw stuff out, and I'm just sitting there talking too much. Don't mind me.
No, that's fine. We like to hear. We like to let you guys talk. I like it, by the way. I'm going to tell you that I do like it. I like how you have the little lines going to the characters and how you do use different colors so you know who's actually talking. You don't even need the arrows anymore because obviously someone picks up in book 4, they might have problems, but people have been reading from the beginning like we have. We know who's talking when we see the different colors. Yeah. And I like the fact that how you do have it separated with just the white lines and it doesn't look like a normal comic book. And you hit on something really big. I was always complaining about 2 things in comic books. Number 1, when there's no words and you spend a ton of money on a book that just has like nothing. I mean, granted, there's a Batman book we read that had no words, but it was a lot of fighting, which was cool. It was fine. But then they did it again, and they did it again, and Justin was like, "We're getting lazy here? Come on, man." And then you pick up a book like I had today, and I forgot who it was. Oh, my gosh. I thought everything was just balloons with words. And I was like, I don't want to read this. It's like so much. I mean, it's not necessary. I mean, you tell it in just a little bit of words and each page, and Steve has a way of doing that. I'll throw his name out there. Steve Orlando has a way of doing that, too, in Midnighter. He doesn't need, like, 8,000 phrases to say it. You're doing a great job with that, and I wanted to tell you, I commend you. It was excellent. Your idea, what you did, was wonderful, and it's truly refreshing. It's a really good book.
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah. Well, I'm also constrained a bit because with my book, that is, that I can't talk forever because I got art in the way. I can't just cover over art with a word balloon because there are no word balloons. So the art has to fit around words and dialogue. So I get limited sometimes in how much I can talk. So later on there will be some word balloons because there'll be other different kind of things. Like the insects kind of had a pseudo word balloon, this floating thing that didn't happen like I wanted it, but whatever, it happened.
I know I'm talking a lot now. I'm sorry, Justin. I mean, I look at the book again, and you look at some of the pages and how, okay, that's really cool. It's nicely drawn. And then you look at some of the other pages, like, holy crap, it got really detailed on that. Like, damn. Like when you look at the bee, and that's what I was trying to get to. You look at the bees, like, see how the little bitty hair is sticking up, and you can like get really, really close. You got to break out a magnifying glass because you can actually see it. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, I get carried away with the coloring. Sometimes I'm just sitting here with the stylus, and I'm just going to town, shading things that probably my wife will tell you, she'll walk by, look over my shoulder, and she's like, no one's ever going to see that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's fun. So, yeah.
I love how passionate you are about comics. But some of the guests we have on, they're like, yeah, I loved comics as a kid, and that's why I got into it. But now I don't really read that many, and I'm not really that invested in it. I just do what I do. It's refreshing to have a guest on that's as passionate about comics like we are. Yeah,
I think it's important. I think the whole community, from one arc to the other, should just be, totally love this art form. I think it's from the fans to the readers to the retailers to the publishers to the artists, writers, colors. Everyone should just be jumping for joy as far as I'm concerned. It's a great time to be in the comics right now. We got movies and television, and the popularity is with conventions. I mean, there's online comics, there's digital comics, it's just great time. It's not like, I mean, maybe because I'm an old fart, but I can tell you there was a time when, when you hid this in the closet, you didn't let people know. You didn't talk to your coworkers about the superhero movie you just saw or something like that. Now your own boss will probably talk to you about, hey man, did you see the Avengers? It's I think it's a great time, and I'm happy to jump up and be,
We feel exactly the same way.
Yeah, enthusiastic. And it's a good time for readers. It's a good time for everyone. I just hope, the bubble doesn't burst or anything. I don't know.
Now, it's that kind of enthusiasm right there that actually sells the book because, you can see it in the writing. I mean, you can see it in the art. You can feel it in the writing. It captures the reader, and you're like, this is such a great book. I can't wait for the next one. And then it comes out the same way. You're like, damn, this guy's good. This is what I'm talking about. Now, I got a question for you. Justin's wife normally does the podcast with us. She's probably doing work today, so she couldn't be here. My wife is also kind of funny, and she throws little jabs. It seems our wives seem to be the funny ones in the family. How much does your wife input? Does she ever look at that like, no, that's not funny. Try this. Or how about this?
My wife and my stepdaughter, sometimes I throw stuff by them. I think the first 3 issues, I really threw stuff at them and said, what about this, what about that? And I was explaining things, because they were like, well, how can she do that? Or how can that happen? Or why are they doing it? Why are their necks so long? Or, this, that, and the other. And we all sat and I explained out everything, giving them the full story kind of a thing. And, they're involved. As a matter of fact, there's I don't want to say anything, but she's got a little cameo in the next issue coming up.
Sweet.
My wife.
Cool.
So yeah, and I put, people that I've known in books before. I'm notorious for that, for Easter eggs and stuff. The first 3 issues, it was like that. Lately, though, she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing, and she reads the books when they come out and and all that. So I just kind of do it mostly on my own, I'll say. And there's times when she just comes by and she's like, what's going on now? What the hell is that? And I'm like, it's a stick bug. It's a really big stick bug. So yeah, it's yeah. Stuff like it's fun having a wife.
Yes, it is. Yeah. 2 more statements now. Sorry, Justin. It's infectious. Okay? I'm gonna say this right now. First of all, Jimmy, my boy here, Justin, was super, super excited when you said you were coming on. He was very excited to meet you. He's one of your biggest fans. I will throw that out there. I'm not saying I was not. I like your book. I know a little bit about you here and there, but since talking to you, man, you won me over with your charisma and everything else. I mean, I'm serious. I'm behind you all the way now. I will tweet back to you with anything you do from here on out because you're freaking awesome. And then my next thing was going to be to Justin. Quick, tweet him our picture so we can get up in book 7. So we get eaten up by some insect or something, or be some
sand monsters.
Yeah, some deformed looking creature.
Yeah, I gotta make more creatures. I'm starting to run out of creatures, and I'm missing some of the creatures. So in number 6, I take a slight detour into some other zone, and I'm just not seeing as much creature creation as I'd like to. But I shall get back to it. Have no fear. So yeah, I'll get some stuff in there, man.
See, we're kind of ugly. We kind of look like creatures. We could probably pull it off. Help us be inspiring to him or something. Like, oh, this guy's one ugly guy. Perfect.
that is one of our objectives, to get drawn into as many comics as possible. Our friend Joe Eisman is drawing us into Morning Glories, some upcoming issues, and then
hey, there you go.
Yeah, so we're trying to get into more.
Yeah, when I was doing Bomb Queen, I'd always have requests because people wanted to die in Bomb Queen. They wanted, Bomb Queen to blow them up or something, or to be on because there's always, these street scenes, and I'd have people in the background in this crazy city, and people just want, they like the city and Bomb Queen so much. So yeah, I've drawn a number of people in that. It is fun to get people into the books, just for shits and giggles. I just think it's fun. I just think it's funny. It's like an inside joke sometimes.
Dude, I'm driving the taco truck.
I'm still working on that character.
That makes sense.
That character.
That one makes sense.
I was going to have the main character, and then I was going to have an assistant come in to help him. And, that's kind of how you introduce the whole world. Because I'm not that big of a fan of, characters just talking out loud about everything. I mean, I know it happens. I know sometimes it's necessary just to convey information to the reader. But, I like it better when you actually can talk to somebody. That's why I had Finks, the fox alone thing in the empty, because I didn't want Tenor to just be talking out loud to nobody. So even if it's a dog, you could talk to a dog or something.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I like Finks.
Talk to somebody. Talk to something.
And
Finks is cool. I get to do backstory later on and all that stuff. And Finks is funny. So he's got a few things coming up, but not just yet. I got to cover the bases, for the first story arc. So I got to get some things resolved.
I don't want to butcher her name. Was it Lila or Lila? How'd you pronounce her name?
I don't know. but I'll say Lila, because this whole empty and everything kind of spun off this idea I had in the 90s, and it was called Lila's Garden then. And Lila's Garden was kind of the medieval, knights, castles, all this stuff. It was that kind of a setting, fairies and whatnot. And she did the same thing. She could grow anything, but she did it through this enchanted watering pail. So, she had this talking watering can kind of a thing, and she watered something, it would grow. And, and back then I called her Lila. So I'm nowadays I'm just kind of going with Lila, Lila, Lila. I'll take anything.
Lila.
Yes, it's cool. Lila, Lila, I don't know how they really talk. They talk weird in the empty. I'll put it that way.
I got you.
I know they talk weird. When I have to write the voices in my head, they just sound really odd, and I have to correct myself. My editor, I said, catch any contraction, because I'm not supposed to say can't. They have to say cannot. Can't say can't, doesn't, don't, it has to be do not, does not, cannot, and when you have that kind of voice in your head, it sounds really weird. So I gotta call it the Conan speech, like Conan would talk or something like that.
What I was going to say about Lila, obviously I like Tenor, because she's strong, she's pretty tough.
Oh.
But I like how when Lila first started, how she was kind of frail, kind of scared, and now how in this last book she's become she's becoming more assertive, and you see her growing as a character. It's really cool to see her, emotional and getting strong with it. It's really deep, man.
Yeah. My wife will tell you I do like female characters, so that you will see female characters in my book a lot. And I just kind of like pulling that underdog thing out and making them just step up to the plate, you might say. And Lila, I did want to be timid. I wanted her to be even more timid and when I started, but back then it was only a miniseries, and I didn't have the luxury of really baby stepping her along. So I had to kind of kickstart her, here and there.
Well, seeing your friends die would do that for you.
that would bring something out in you. Yeah. So and she'll discover, even as she said, she's discovering even more abilities and stuff like that. And there'll be some bigger reveals in 5 and 6, and it's gonna get trippy. It'll get trippy, but Lila, I like Lila and her little peoples, whatever. her land of long necks, or the giraffe land, or whatever.
When is the first trade paperback supposed to come out? Because I know a lot of people have not been picking up the single issues, and hopefully after hearing you talk about it, they'll be inspired to go and read the whole thing. Yeah,
I just got the schedule from Image. They want it to come out in September, I believe. So we're working on what the interiors would look like and all that. I used to do, when I was Bomb Queen and stuff like that, I would do everything again. I would do the entire trade, cover to cover. This is the front cover, the spine, the back cover. This is the interior. This is all the design work, the layout, the chapter breaks, the introduction, all that. Now I don't get to do that anymore. I guess Image got sick of me, because I would do it and then I would lock it down, in Photoshop. I'd hand them complete flatted files, and they're like, we want to change something. Every time they wanted to change something, like if somebody in the office, one of the office titles, or some legalese, or some date, or the barcode, or anything changed, they'd have to come back to me again. They say, Jimmy, we need to do a change here. Can you redo this? And I think after a while they got tired of saying, why do we keep asking Jimmy? As if he runs the book. We are the publisher. So now I just do the story pages and the covers, and my publisher's great. I love them. Image is great. So they're taking over a lot of that. And they told me to schedule, I think it's September, the trade comes out for 6 issues. Yes, 6-issue trade. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, for any of our listeners who have enjoyed hearing Jimmie talk about it, go pick that up. I mean, if you can find the single issues, get the single issues because they're all beautiful and it's just a great series. But if you can't, wait for the trade, but make sure you get it and read it because it kicks ass.
I know. I was about to ask him, hey, does he have any extras on him?
Well, there's extras in the trade, yeah. I'll put it there. There's extra cover, and there'll be a little process, this is how it's penciled and, my coloring process, stuff like that. That's roughly it. And I just got to keep going on it, kick my butt for another, 4 or 5 issues to get to the next story arc.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds really cool. Give me a funny story, Justin.
Okay, so if you haven't heard yet, Houston flooded pretty bad last week. And our house was fine. Luckily, we live at the top of a little hill. We're on the corner of a cul-de-sac, and the day that it was really bad rain was the very last day of the con. We went to Comic Palooza a couple weekends ago, and I was exhausted. I walked like 50 or 60 miles throughout the weekend. We did so much stuff. I was up at like 7 a.m. I was getting like 3 hours of sleep a night. So that night, all I wanted to do was sleep, but we had these crazy storms. Just 3 different storms merged together, and it was just torrential rain, just pouring and pouring and pouring. And, there's danger of flash floods because we live near a bunch of different rivers. Well, I woke up that morning, and I was like, it's not going to be that bad. Went and looked out the peephole. I could see my cul-de-sac perfectly fine. There's a little bit of standing water, but it wasn't that bad. And I went and got a shower, got dressed, got ready for work, walked outside, looked to my right, and my street was underwater. There was a big lake.
Wow.
I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to work. The thing was, though, Heather, who's my wife, her mom was coming to visit us the night before. And her plane was supposed to come in, but it got delayed because of the weather. So it came in that morning. And it didn't show up until 11 a.m., which none of the water had really gone down by that point. So we decided we were going to try to drive through it. We were going to go real slow and try to make it to the airport. Well, we got in my Honda, and we went real slow and just kind of, drove with the door open so I could make sure no water was going to slosh in.
Wow.
And, we made it through the first part of our neighborhood all the way up to the entrance, and this truck came barreling down the road, and I slammed my door just in time because he flew by me and threw a bunch of water all over the car. So luckily I didn't get any water inside, but it's kind of funny because he was driving like a jackass. He flew past me and hit this giant puddle of water that was like 25 inches deep, and his truck stalled out. All I could do was laugh at him for being a jerk, but we turned around, drove slowly back to the house because there was no way we could go and get her. And her mom had, of course, landed by that point and called us and was like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what we're going to do. There's no way to go get her. So Heather actually works at a private school. So we ended up calling the bus driver for the private school to go and get the school bus and drive to the airport and pick up her mom and then bring her back to the house. So David, the bus driver, went and got her, brought her back to the house, and we unloaded all of her stuff. None of us had eaten because it was late in the day.
So you were in the short bus?
Yeah, it was. Technically, it is a short bus because it's for a private school, but it is what it is. We all decided we were going to go eat Mexican food, so we all piled into the school bus and went to eat Mexican food.
Good.
So it wasn't terribly funny, but it's probably the most funny thing that's happened to me in a while.
Try driving a school bus in some bad weather, yeah? Well, it's actually raining.
Well, we were passing by all kinds of people that couldn't. Their cars were stalled. They were standing on the side of the road. We joked about stopping and picking people up and just taking them with us, turn into a party bus.
Well, the private school I coached for, I drove the bus a lot before they really made us have to have the, what is it, Class C?
Yeah.
Well, it's not really a big. It was a big bus type, van type vehicle, but it was big. It was a bus, and we left, and it was just coming down. I mean, the rain was coming down hard. Now here it's me, the other 3 coaches, and about 14 girls. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, the last thing I need is something
I think
bad.
you should clarify for everybody that you were coaching girls basketball.
Yeah, I was coaching girls basketball, yeah.
Because it just sounded like you were 3 other dudes and a bunch of girls.
No. Nice. Two dude coaches, 2 female coaches. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so driving, and the weather got really, really bad, man. I had a death grip on the steering wheel, and I could just feel the wind pushing me all over the place. And by the time we got to where I needed to be, the steering wheel indentions were in my hands. And so I'm like, okay, we made it. Woo, good. This is all good. So we go to the hotel. Everybody gets in their rooms, whatever. And we go out and we go to eat. And then we come back, and then we're going to the gym to see the game, to see what's happening. So we're in there for a while. and we're getting ready to leave. This is in Dallas, by the way. And one of the guys opens up the door, and there's snow coming down. So I left Houston. It was raining. I get to Dallas, and now I'm driving the bus, and now snow's coming down. Like, what is going on here? And then within I don't even know, an hour, 2 hours that we were there, the road was iced over. There was like, I don't know how many inches of snow on the ground. I'm like, what is happening? And
Texas weather, man.
So my coach is like, "Hey, man, can you drive this?" Yeah, I got this. So we get in the parking lot, start the bus up.
It's never good when you say, "Yeah, I got this."
So get in the bus and start it up. Finally get it going, let it warm up. Everybody slide to the bus. I didn't fall down. That was the funny story. I didn't fall down.
That's an accomplishment.
We got in the bus and I took off, and I knew I had to go slow, but I still hadn't really driven the bus enough. So I kind of slid a little bit going out of the parking lot. I slid this way, and my coach was like, "Hey, man, hit the brakes. I got this." Because when we drove out, and I drove us from the hotel again, and he thought everything was good. The next day, he thought everything was still cool, but it wasn't. It was still slick. And so I was only going 30. I was being safe. And so I started to put the brakes a little bit, way ahead of time, and I just started sliding, slid all the way through. I'm going to go through the light. We're going to get freaking killed. At the last moment, the wheels caught a dry patch, and we stopped in a hurry. My coach had coffee. Well, he had coffee. He used to say, "I'd never spill anything." He did that day. Good thing he didn't burn himself. He just gave me a look. I was like, "Oh, man, I'm fired. I'm fired."
Speaking of spilling things, actually, last Thursday, you and I were about to go to an important meeting, and beforehand, I was sitting at my desk drinking. I had stopped at Chick-fil-A to get a cup of soda, and I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and I went to get a drink, and I tilted my cup in just the wrong way, and a bunch of Coke spilled out the top of the lid right onto my crotch.
There you go.
And, of course, everybody had seen me just come back from the bathroom, so it looked like I had just pissed myself.
Yeah, I've been there. Splashing water, washing your hands, splashing water, and you're like, "What the hell, dude? Really? Really? Really?"
The funny part is when I walk around, I'm like, "What the hell are you doing back here, man?"
I had my back to him, and I looked like I was just rubbing all crazy.
What is going on?
Get some friction and dry it off. Well, we went and got in the car, and we started driving to the meeting, and I turned all the air conditioner vents on my crotch. Put it on
You did? I'm like, "Oh, my
I gotta
God.
dry this out before we get there, man."
It looked really bad.
Oh, man.
Come clean, man. You wet your pants.
If I had wet my pants, it would be a much bigger stain than what it was, but it was just in a really awkward position. What about you, Jimmy? You got a funny story for us?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, "You got a wet your pants story?" What kind of story is that?
No, I sweat really easy, so I got a lot, as far as wetting clothes, having wet clothes, it's because I sweat too much. I just sweat on a dime, dude. I don't want to do anything. I just sweat. But actually, to be honest, no, I don't have any funny stories. My life's pretty boring. Golly, you guys are good. I was an Eisner judge once. That's right. I was an Eisner judge in San Diego once, and they told me to be down there at a certain time, so I'm hightailing it for like 300 some miles in a car. Car breaks down. Fan belt, everything. Radiator overheat. So then I'd spent overnight at a gas station because the guy wasn't there. This is like on some 2-lane highway or whatever. The guy comes up the next day, and I'm right there. He's like, "Hey, man, I'll fix you up." He fixes me up, sees I got like no money, does it for $7. He says it's his birthday. Like, I believe it. But whatever. I do that, and I hightail it down there, get to San Diego, get up to the specific hotel or whatever, and everyone's there, and there I am stinking like, high heaven because I slept in the truck all night, and I'm in these overalls like a garage mechanic or whatever.
And you sweat.
And in the room is Neil Gaiman, Eric Schanauer, and all these great retailers, and the actual coordinator for San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm just like looking really, really stupid. And I did, like Justin said, I excused myself to the bathroom so I could wash up at least. And sure enough, I'm getting water all over myself because I'm in this like high-end hotel or whatever, and I couldn't even figure out how to turn the water on. It's got little sensors or whatever, and it was just a mess. And that's, I come back out and I'm looking at Neil Gaiman, and he's like serving me lunch.
because they called for room service and came and handed me a plate, and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Jimmie Robinson. Yes, I know." And it was just, that was more embarrassing than funny. So that's kind of about it. Yeah, but he was a great guy, and it was a great time, and that was a good experience, except for all the breaking down on the freeway and stuff. That was kind of lame. And when watching police drive by, I mean, dude, you're broke, down, on the freeway, hood up, classic, steam coming up, everything. Highway patrol drives by. I'm like, well, maybe they're gonna call somebody. Highway patrol drives by again, and I'm like, what? Protect and serve? What happened? It's like, maybe I should have waved a gun around or something, get some attention. But yeah, that was
wave a donut. That usually works.
Nice.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Usually works a lot for us black guys. Yeah, get a lot of attention. But yeah, that's one of my pseudo funny, embarrassing stories. I guess there you go. That's like I said, I lead a pretty boring life. I'm in the house all the time. What can I do? Got no stories, cool stories like that, like you guys.
That was pretty interesting, though.
We're gonna rag on some cops. I got some cop stories. I got some.
Yeah, I had some cop stories too. I mean, before I was doing comics, I was a skateboarder. I love skateboarding. Almost 2 decades on the street skating. I love skateboarding. And I remember once just skating at a gas station, these cops just pulled up and just slammed me to the ground right off the bat. They thought I looked like this other guy who was this rapist they were after. And apparently the guy said they cornered him once and he got away from him. So this time they weren't going to let that happen. So I'm out skating with my friends, and this car just jumps the curb, everything. They jump out like SWAT and everything, and they just grab me and they slam me to the ground, and I'm like, I'm being cool. I'm being cool. I'm not the type that gets hot or anything like that. I'm really cool. And, they just said, yeah, I'm going to show you somebody you know really well. And I'm like, okay, show me somebody. Like, this look familiar to you? And the other cop is going like, nah, it doesn't look like him, Bob. Apparently I'm supposed to be looking at the guy, like they caught him on video or something. Like, this is you, we got you. And I'm like, no, I don't know the guy. And, at the end of it all, I pat him on the back. I'm like, that was pretty cool. Dukes of Hazzard shit you just pulled out. That was sliding across the hood of the car and all that. That was cool, And I hope you catch the guy, but, I'm not your man, and bye.
Where was that? Yeah. Where was this
that
at?
That was in Oakland.
Oh, okay.
Where was Midnighter when I needed him?
Right? Hey, I understand that profile and stuff. I got a couple for you real quick. Tennessee. Apparently, you're a rapist. I'm a drug dealer, apparently.
There you go.
I'm driving from New York all the way to freaking Texas to sell drugs and transport them.
Abducted a white woman and her 2 kids.
Yeah, I abducted a white woman and a dog. In a station wagon. I'm in a station wagon and I'm selling drugs. Yeah, I got pulled over and I pretty much got harassed. I got asked the same question 6 different ways. Asked where I was coming from, what I was doing, and who was with me in the car, and when was her birthday, and this, and then what was my social security number. I'm like, excuse me?
Wow.
I was like, he finally, we were there for an hour. I kid you not. But apparently eventually the shebang was another vehicle, red Dodge Caliber with Texas plates, was reported doing some kind of drug thing, some kind of doing something illegal, and they apparently we're driving the same freaking car. That's just weird to me. Hispanic male too with a white woman. I don't understand this. Explain this to me. But anyway, but no. Justin alluded to another story that happened here in Houston. I come out of my house. This is for my first wife. I come out of my house. We go around the corner. I'm driving the car. She's in the passenger seat. My daughter's in the back. I get stopped by the police officer at the stop sign. I'm like, why is he pulling me over for? Okay, so I wait. I look through the window, and he's coming to the car. His hand is on his pocket where his rifle's at, his gun. He unclicked the freaking button so he can get to his rifle. Has his other hand riding on the side of the car like I'm going to shoot at him.
Wow.
Sir, can you stick your hands out the door? Okay. And he gets up to the corner. He goes up to the woman and goes, "Are you okay, ma'am?
Yeah.
Are you and your daughter okay?" Like, my wife at the time was like, "Yeah, this is my husband." I was like, seriously, I was like, "Oh my God, seriously?" That's why Justin made that joke. So it's a Mexican male with 2 white hostages. I was like, "Oh my gosh, what the hell is going on?"
Yeah. My wife is white, and now I've got a white stepdaughter as well, and she's in law school, so don't even get her going because she'll jump right out there. But yeah, I've had the same thing. I've people looking at me funny, or they're looking at my wife, and then I walk up and they're like, that guy just walked up to you, like, they have that look like, oh, okay. Then they back off when they see how she responds to me. But yeah, it's interesting having the mixed race relationship. But I'm here in California. It's a little better, I guess. Some people might say, but really, it is what it is, no matter where you are. Really.
Yeah.
So,
it's just so I love when I go to dinner with my daughter, people make is he bothering you, ma'am? My daughter will rip someone a new ass in the heartbeat. Yeah. It is so freaking hilarious to watch.
Yeah. My stepdaughter the same way now. She's loud too.
Yes.
She will talk loud, so everybody in the entire room will hear it. So, but I've had run-ins here and there, but mostly I've been, the joke I have with my wife is that I'm a golden child. I get away with murder, man. I've done so many things, and nothing ever happens. So it's weird for me to get a story or a cop or something something happening because I'm usually getting away with it. So I'm just blessed to run rampant until the police turn up, and then I'm like looking innocent. But yeah, it's but still a lot of fun being in a mixed relationship. Yeah.
Yes.
I can't speak to that.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I haven't always been in a mixed relationship, so we can speak to that. There you go.
All right. Well, let's move on to this week's comics, movies, and TV news.
All right.
Hey.
What do you want to talk about first, Miguel?
Let's talk about comics today.
Comics. Okay. So today's issue of Star Wars, issue number 6, came out, and there was a major reveal, which affects all the movies going forward. It has something to do with Han Solo. And I know you know what I'm talking about. You read it.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
So I didn't read it.
Do you want me to spoil it for you, Jimmy?
Go ahead, yeah, because I'm not reading that series, so it's cool.
So apparently Han Solo was married before he teamed up with the rebellion, and him and Leia got stranded on this planet, and his wife tracked him down.
Mixed relationship.
Yeah. I wasn't going to spoil it, but now I think I'll leave it in because that's funny.
But I was like, whoa! I was like, oh my gosh!
So anybody that wants to get that book might want to hurry out and get it because I think it's going to be a scarce issue going forward.
I really like how the Star Wars and Darth Vader books are going. I really do like them. It's so cool.
Did you see the previews in this week's issue?
Uh-huh.
They're going to be doing an Orlando series?
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
That's right.
That's right. I did see a cover or something like that.
I'm looking forward to Orlando series.
I was going to make a joke, but I let it go.
All right, so the next thing, Marvel is apparently going to reveal what the all-new, all-different universe is going to look like following Secret Wars in July. It's going to happen on July 1st. They're going to be releasing a magazine, like one of the free previews that's available at your local comic shop. It's going to show all the new titles that are going to be coming out once Secret Wars is done. So July 1st is the date we'll kind of get a feeling for what Marvel is going to look like post-Secret Wars.
When's that actually going to happen? I mean, when is the Secret Wars going to end? Do we know?
Well, it's 8 issues, and they're on issue 3 right now, so you can assume it's going to be 2 or 3 more months. So right now, nothing's been unveiled. Nobody knows anything about what the world's going to look like post-Secret Wars, so this will be our first chance to really see.
I don't think I want to know. I don't think they should do that. Seriously. I don't mind the Secret Wars thing. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, yeah, I know they want to show you what's coming out, but nah, man. Suspense. Gotta keep you there. I'm loving the Secret Wars stuff. I really am.
I am too. I think it's been really good, but, that's not what the world's going to be going forward. I don't think it's going to continue to be Battle World once Secret Wars is over. So this is a good way for us to find out what's going to happen to the X-Men, because we know the X-Men groups are going to be separated from the rest of the Marvel Universe somehow, and this might kind of give us a clue as to that. And then as well, we'll find out what's going to happen with the Avengers and different teams.
Yeah, because a lot of people showed up.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed. So I'm kind of looking forward to finding out. Also, S.H.I.E.L.D. number 9 is coming out in September, and Mark Waid is working with Jim Steranko, and they're going to reveal the official origin of S.H.I.E.L.D., which has never really been explored before.
Huh.
Is that right?
I think that's kind of cool. It's going to be for the 50th anniversary of S.H.I.E.L.D. being in existence.
Cool.
Kind of cool.
Hydra. Hail Hydra. Shield. Only cool person in S.H.I.E.L.D. is Nick Fury.
Yeah, well, I'm sure this is going to involve him because it's the origin, right?
Yeah. Him and Coulson. Those are my two favorite guys. S.H.I.E.L.D.
Coulson's fairly new. He hasn't existed for a long time.
That's true.
So that's it for comics. What do you want to talk about next? Movies?
Some movies.
Okay. So they released a new Ant-Man trailer yesterday, which we watched right before the show started. What did you think?
It was okay.
Just okay?
It was okay. I like the first one.
The first one's really good.
I mean, they tried to be a little funny with the second one. This trailer we saw today. But I like the first. The first one just kind of got me, I'm good.
The first one was way more action-packed.
Yeah.
And the second one is a lot more humorous. They really tried to focus on Paul Rudd making jokes and acting like Scott Lang typically does in the comics. And I thought they did a good job with it.
I think it kind of stole a little thunder away from me, honestly.
Really?
Really?
I need to go back and watch trailer 1 so I can feel good about it again.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I'm still waiting. I'm excited. I really am excited to see Ant-Man.
I am too. We're going to go to the Midnight Show, right?
That's right.
Okay, good. Next, Andre Tricado has been confirmed as playing Colossus in the Deadpool movie.
Don't know him.
He's the guy that was in Seventh Son, one of the bad guys. He's relatively unknown. He's been a guest star on a lot of TV shows and stuff, but all the pictures you saw from the Deadpool movie said of the tall guy.
Yeah.
People that have read the script kind of assumed it was going to be Colossus, but it was never officially stated until yesterday. So officially, he's going to be playing Colossus. So that's kind of cool.
Nice.
Right on.
Bryan Singer announced that Caliban is going to play a major role in the X-Men Apocalypse movie. So I guess we know what our first Horseman is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, second. I mean, you probably assume Archangel's going to be in there as well.
That's right.
So that's kind of cool. And that's it for movies. There wasn't a whole lot of news this week.
Yeah.
So moving on to TV.
Yes.
And I think this one's going to excite you, Jimmy.
Uh-oh.
Wicked and Divine has been picked up as a TV series by Universal.
That's right. Universal TV there. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Let's see how they're going to pull that off.
Going to be a lot of concert scenes.
Yeah. So when are the people going to come out against it? Because they're already hating on Lucifer on Fox.
That's actually my next piece of news. The 1 Million Moms group has put together a petition for Fox to try to get them to cancel the Lucifer TV series because, as they put it, it glorifies the devil as a likable human person.
The devil.
That's right.
Devil. Fox is the devil. We know this.
Only because they cancel shows before they're due.
I know. I heard they're reviving something, but not Firefly. They're what are they reviving? I heard
X-Files?
Yeah. No, something else.
X-Files is coming back. Joel
I know
McHale,
that, but
Joel
that wasn't-
McHale's attached. I think that's kind of weird.
There was something else. Oh, I can't remember. Crap. Sorry, Ma, I'm terrible at news.
But, I don't really see the problem with Lucifer. I mean...
I thought it was funny.
I didn't see it.
The trailer looks pretty good.
That's probably I'm going to hell.
I mean, it's all fantasy.
That's right.
Best scene, Jimmy, is when he's sitting in the hospital, the little girl's next to him, and then, what's your name? He's like, Lucifer. She's like the devil? He's like, yes! It's pretty funny. His facial expression was pretty funny.
Right on. Yeah, maybe I should check. I mean, I hardly get to watch TV as much as I want. Back here drawing. My wife, however, keeps up with a lot of stuff. So every now and then I get to watch if I sit down and eat dinner. So then she clues me in. Oh, yeah, this is the Flash. Yeah, that's Arrow. No, I'm not that bad. But still, there's but you know what I haven't seen? I have not even seen Daredevil. Not once.
Oh, you're missing out.
I know, I'm totally missing out, and that's one I've yet to catch up with. But I've got it. There's so many cool things coming out.
Yeah, there is. And speaking of, the next thing is that the Supergirl pilot was leaked 6 months before it's actually supposed to air.
The actual pilot?
The actual pilot was leaked, and it was put up on YouTube about a week ago.
Oh, dude!
And I actually watched it. I watched it on YouTube. I had kind of negative opinion about it. Based on the
you were
trailer.
bashing it, man.
Well, I wasn't bashing. I said I would watch it. I would
You're
give
like,
it a
just
chance.
kill more girls with a cape.
Well, the trailer definitely portrays it as like a girl drama kind of story. Like she's very like flighty and just kind of like, oh, I want to date this guy and I wish more guys liked me. And it was more about the drama and less about the fighting, less about the superhero kind of stuff. But that is not the case at all. The plot for this show is basically that Superman Kal-El was sent to Earth, and then right behind him Kara was sent. Well, Kara didn't actually make it the same time Superman did. She got sucked into the negative zone. When she breaks free from the negative zone and starts her trajectory towards Earth, the prison that was holding all these, super-powered aliens broke free as well and crash landed on Earth at the same time she did. Well, when it crashed, all these aliens broke free and went into hiding because they already knew Superman was on Earth and they didn't want to tangle with him since he'd had presumably 18 years to adapt to Earth's atmosphere and get super strong, and they were all still kind of learning.
Ah, okay.
So when Kara's forced to reveal herself, because she does it to protect her sister, they all start coming out because they realize that she's the daughter of her mom, who's the one who imprisoned them all. So it's going to be kind of like a fight of the week kind of thing where she's fighting one of these criminals who's superpowered and has different abilities or whatever. And the fight scenes in the first episode were just really well done. The guy she fought the first time was super strong, and he couldn't fly, but he could jump really far, and he had a big glowing axe. And it was a really good fight. And the fight was way more predominant in the story than I thought it was going to be. The drama stuff, everything you saw in the trailer was in the first episode. So it wasn't like taking drama from throughout the series. It was all from the first episode. And that was pretty much all the drama that was in the first episode was what you saw in that original 7-minute trailer. I was extremely impressed with it because I had very low expectations going in. So I'm actually going to have to eat my words a little bit. I'm looking forward to Supergirl now.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I find it odd that they don't want to tie some of the universes together with, the Flash and Gotham and all this stuff. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. They're all on the same channel, kind of a thing. They're all on the same channel, I believe, right?
Well, Supergirl's going to be on CBS.
Yeah, not Supergirl. Yeah, that's right.
But Arrow and Flash and Legends of Tomorrow are all going to be
You've
on
already
CW.
done that. Yeah.
CW.
So I don't know. I mean, they could tie Supergirl together with those shows. I mean, I think that the CW people are open to it. They've expressed interest. Gotham's a little weird to tie into it because it's taking place at a weird point in Bruce Wayne's life.
Right.
So I'm not sure that the timelines actually mesh up well, but
it's all about Gordon. He's not Batman yet. It's all about Gordon.
yeah.
He's not Batman.
Yeah.
It's bad. Yeah, I tripped out when I saw that.
You did not mention Batmite. Please tell me you did not mention Batmite. Seriously?
Well, that's it for the movie, comic, and TV news, but we actually have some news for the show.
Oh, okay.
We actually have a brand new sponsor, and I'm really happy to announce these guys. It's Bedrock City Comics here in Houston.
Who?
Bedrock City Comics.
No, I'm just messing.
And they actually gave us a promo code. So if you go to bedrockcity.com, you can buy any apparel, including shirts, hats, jewelry, belts, basically anything you can wear, and use the promo code BEDROCK. You'll get 20% off your entire order. And that's not just one item. That's your entire order. So if you want to buy 3 shirts, you get 20% off each one.
Nice.
So go out there, use the promo code BEDROCK on their website, bedrockcity.com. Support the show by doing that because it shows them that you're listening, which we need to do.
Yes.
And, go there for all your comic book needs, too, because Bedrock is just awesome. They have everything.
Can you use that on those pop figures?
I think it's just for apparel this week, but it might change as time goes by.
I got you. Can I use it?
Sure.
All right. I need a couple of Godzilla shirts.
That's a good place to get them.
Sweet.
Also, I want to remind everybody to go out there and like us on social media. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Comical Podcast, or on Twitter, I'm at Comical Podcast.
I'm a Comical Podcast, too.
And if you'd like to follow Jimmy, you can find him at
Jimmie Robinson Facebook and at Jimmie Robinson Twitter. I just use my name. I don't have any fancy, comical podcast name.
We're fancy, man.
Yeah, it's Jimmy with Jimmy IE, Jimmy, Jimmie Robinson. That's there you go. I really need to up my social media game, but yeah, there you go.
Awesome. I also want to remind everybody, there's a few places you can find us on the internet. Of course, you can find us on iTunes and Stitcher and SoundCloud. And if you listen to the show on one of those, please leave us a review. You can also find us on nerdbong.com, wickedradionetwork.com, beyondthedawnradio.com, or lightningradio.com. That's LIGHTENING radio.com. And the show airs every Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Time on their network.
You're a great speller.
I am.
Wow.
So there's a lot of places you guys can find us. Go out there and listen to the show, listen to back episodes. We got a lot of great content.
Yeah, we do.
And leave us a review if you can.
5 stars.
So I want to say thanks to Jimmy for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure. And would you like to close out the show?
Sure. What do I say? I just say that thanks for listening to Comical Podcast, where we rock it, and Bedrock Comics gets you 20% off with the code. And you guys enjoy your day and read good comics.
And remember, keep on laughing, bitches.
That's perfect.